Hello, this is a tutorial for 1.2C1. Working through this, let's take a look at these different uh, exponents, or these numbers written in exponential form, and we need to evaluate them. So finally, we get to use our calculator here. So let me get my calculator out. 4 to the third power is simply 4 times 4 times 4. So when we put that into the calculator, it's 4 times, oops, let me clear the calculator, 4 times 4 times 4, which equals 64. 10 to the third is going to be 10 times 10 times 10. Well, I know that this is 100, so 100 times 10 is just simply 1,000. So that one I can do on my own. Okay, 1 to the 11th. Well, I can do this one by myself too, if you think about it. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. I think that's 6. Let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I've got it 5 more times. For multiplication sign up there. Well, what is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times? I mean, I can put it in the calculator, but I'm going to lose track of what I'm doing. I just know that it's equal to 1. 2 to the 5th. So that one may be 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Now, anything above 4, it starts to get confusing for me. So I like writing them out like this. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2. Now I could put that into the calculator, or I could just solve it. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. Okay? 8 to the first power, well, that's just simply 8. We have 0 to the sixth power. Here's 0 is to the sixth power. So if we were to write that out, 0 times 0 times 0, I think you know where this is going. 0 times 0 times 0. That's just simply going to equal 0. Okay, we have 9 to the third. 9 times 9 times 9. Sometimes I do a combination of them. This is 81 times 9, which equals 729. That makes sense. Okay, 7 squared, that's simply 7 squared like that. Well, that's 7 times 7, that's 49. 5 to the fourth power, so here's 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Well, I know that 5 times 5, this is 25. This is going to be 25. So I'm going to put in 25 times 25 because, again, I get confused when I put in 5 times 5 times 5. I lose track of how many times I'm putting it in. So I like to make it in smaller chunks. So 25 times 25, which should be 625. Okay, so I think we've gotten all of those. I'm just going to erase this. So we have some workspace down below here. Use a calculator to determine whether each sentence is true. Well, 8 to the second will be 8 times 8, so this is 64. And 2 to the 8th, well, let's think about 2 to the 8th. That one's going to take a little bit of writing. I have some space over here. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So this is 4 times, this is 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. So 2 to the 8th is going to be 16 times this same thing again, which is 16 times 16. Do that real quick on the calculator. That's 256. So is this true or false? This is not true. This is false. Put an F there. Okay. 17 squared is less than 172. Well, 17 squared would be 17 times 17, which is 289. 289 is less than 172. No. This is false too. Okay, 3 squared is greater than 1 to the 19th. Well, 3 squared is 3 times 3, so that would be 9. Is that greater than 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1? Yeah, it's just going to be 1, right? So this one here is true. Okay, now we have to put these in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to need a little more space here, and I'll do the, you know what? I'll do the first one. I think the first one's pretty tough. Let's take a look at that. So 7 squared, this would be 49. 5 to the third, that's going to be 5 times 5 times 5. This would be 125 on your calculator. 3 to the fourth, well, let's see, 3 to the fourth. 3 to the second equals 9. So 3 to the fourth is going to be 9 times 9. So that's going to be 81. And 2 to the fifth, well, that will be 2 times 2 times 2. That's 8. And then another 2 times 2, there's my fifth, that's 4. So it'll be 8 times 4, so that's going to be 32. It's 2 to the fifth. So from smallest to largest, it's going to be this one here, which is 32, which is 2 to the fifth, would be the smallest. And then it's going to be, the next smallest one is 7 squared, which is 49. The next smallest is 3 to the fourth. And 5 to the third is the biggest. Okay? I'll help you with just a few of these here, and then you can do them. This is going to be 4 times 4 times 4. This is going to be 64. 1 to the 13th is simply 1. 12 squared is 144. And 8 to the third, well, that's going to be 8 times 8, which is 64, times 1 more 8. So 64 times 8. 64 times 8. That's equal to 512. So you can put those in order, and I'll let you do 30 on your own. Let's take a look at these word problems. Mansi is using an interactive map on her computer that allows her to zoom in or zoom out. Each time she zooms out, the scale of the map increases by a power of 10. She zooms out 4 times, the scale is 10 to the fourth. Write this number in standard form. Well, standard form would just be writing that. We just need to evaluate. It's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Well, this is 100. This is 100. So 100 times 100, you can just do the fact. 1 times 1 is 1, and then add up all zeros. It's 4. As a matter of fact, a little trick that you can learn is that 10 to the first equals 10, 10 to the second equals 100, 10 to the third equals 1,000. The power of 10, it always tells you how many zeros you have. So if you have 10 to the 7, that's going to be a 1 with 7 zeros. Yeah, I know, it's a gift. What can I say? Okay, lab technician discovered 5 bacteria growing in a lab dish. 1 hour later, he observed 25 bacteria. Every hour, he notices about 5 times as many as the hour before. After several hours of observation, he determined that he had that the lab dish had 5 to the 9th bacteria. Use a calculator to find the number in standard form that represents the bacteria in the lab. So 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 times 5. I want to break it down a little bit. 5 times 5 times 5. And these are, of course, all multiplied together. So 5 times 5 is 25. Times 5 is 125. 125. 125. Now that's something I can do on a calculator and enter it and get it correctly. That helps you can see that. So 125 times 125 times 125 equals, that's a big number, 1,953,125. Anytime there's something that big, I'm just going to double check it. Clear it a couple times. 125 times 125 times 125. Yep. All right, that's it. You should be good for your test or your quiz on this. This is a pretty simple target. You finally get to use your calculator. All right, good luck.